Greetings, folks. T-Mot back for another drive time. Haven't done one this late in quite a while, but at any rate, I'm on my way home to prepare myself, and I'm headed back to the hospital for a third night, sleeping on that couch. Remember, I always say, if you can like it, you can share it. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Always take it past where you found it. Couple little things that you might find of interest. I posted some tidbits on my Facebook wall. You guys that are watching this, you know where it is, but the people on YouTube, if you go to facebook.com/TMOTOFGA, TMOTOFGA, you can find those tidbits. I want to talk about just one of them, or just mention it to you. How do dead people live on? By the good deeds that they do, by the acts of others in the memory of that person that is no longer with us, and the knowledge that they leave behind that benefits others. I want to live past this earthly body, and so what I try to do is spread the knowledge. What I find, I put it out. And there are people that don't want knowledge out there. You know, you look at Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, John F. Kennedy, Jesus Christ. Those are the perfect examples. I'm not putting myself at their level, but this is how you can be relevant after death. Do something. And the other one that I put out there, to live a good life, to have a meaningful life, simply don't treat people like dung. Okay? Treat people well. And no matter what you accomplish in life, because you treat people well, you will, I promise you, have a good life. Like, don't go on people's Facebook wall breaking their balls over something. Have a conversation with them instead. Okay, so let's get to this. And I want y'all also to check out the tidbits, you know, about Clinton, about the travel ban being upheld twice by the Supreme Court, but a couple of knuckleheads decided to jam it up with the word, I think I used, it was substantial. Okay, but anyway, let me get to this. The GOP played you for suckers. Now, back in the 60s, Malcolm X told the Negroes, you're a fool, you're a traitor to your race. You've been played by a party that you, and what he was talking about, you give all of your votes to one party expecting a change, and they were having issues getting the Civil Rights Act passed and the Voting Rights Act passed, which we shouldn't have needed after the Emancipation Proclamation if people had just followed the spirit of the Constitution and that part of the Declaration of Independence that says we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. But you know, there are always assholes that don't want to do the right thing, so we needed the 13th Amendment, then the 14th Amendment, then the 15th Amendment, and then the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act. But you try and tell the Negro the history of the Democratic Party, man, they look at you like you're crazy. But don't let me start repeating myself. So Malcolm X told the Negroes this back in the 60s. So here in the year 2017, I'm telling those in the Republican Party the same thing. I know you don't believe me and you're going to say I'm this and I'm that and I'm not a true conservative, etc., etc., etc. Well, you'll be wrong, and hopefully you'll listen and you'll learn something. So let me break it down for you. When Bill Clinton was president, Hillary Clinton tried to pass a version of health care, but America wasn't hearing it, and the Republicans under Bush, who had the House and the Senate, wouldn't allow it to go. When Bush got in, it was stopped under Bill Clinton, and Bush had 8 years to do something to address the issues of people complaining about health care. Now, government has no business in health care, but he could have fostered an environment that would have allowed for things like portability, etc., etc. I'm not going to get all into that, but when I was running for office in 2012 and 2016, and the people that were on stage that I was running against that had already been in office, I said, look, people, if you don't send me, just don't send them back, because they didn't do nothing before. And every last one of them was running on, and we're going to repeal and replace Obamacare. I have videos where I'm saying, repeal, I agree with. Why are you replacing it? That is the crux of the damn problem. But, of course, the media kept my message from getting out there to most of the folks, and they continued to play the sucker, and they voted for David Perdue, sent David Perdue up there, who also ran on repeal and replace it. I ain't heard jack crap out of him. He ain't making a bit of noise. I don't even know what the hell he's doing up there in Washington, D.C. If I was up there, I'd be making some noise. I'd be changing the room. I'd be naming names. I'd be pointing out the corrupt. Okay? Because that's what needs to happen. I've been talking about getting rid of them suckers long before Donald Trump decided to run for office. So let's move on. 2014, they ran on repealing and replacing Obamacare, and many of them got elected. Okay? But Obamacare still wasn't repealed. We have Obama in office. Obamacare did not get repealed. Now we have Trump in office, and Obamacare still didn't get repealed. So let me tell you why, and let me break it down to you by the numbers. When Obama took office, the Democrats had the House for 2 full years under Obama. The Republicans would have the Senate for 4 months under Obama. In that window, and because 2 independents in the Senate joined the Republicans, they were able to produce in 4 months. Now, you know that bill had been sitting somewhere on the back burner. They knew it. So they pulled it out, and in 4 months, we got Obamacare. Yep, that's what happened in 4 months. And immediately after that, the Senate, the Democrats lost the Senate. And 2 years later, the midterm elections, the Democrats lost the House. Now, here's what was set up. Obama said, well, if I can't get nothing done, because he really wasn't, I have a phone and I have a pen, or I have a pen and I have a phone. So Obama proceeded to legislate by way of executive order, violating many of the constitutional principles that we have in place. And nobody on the Republican side or the Democratic side endeavored to stop Obama from what he was doing. Nobody on either side. Now, when Bush was president, the Republicans constantly said, give us the House, give us the Senate, and we'll make changes. And y'all gave it to them. You re-elected those same bums and sent more bums back up there, and nothing got done under Bush except more Democratic style legislation, like TARP, the bailout of the banks. That's right. All of that crap started under Bush, and the Republicans had both houses. So let me get back to where we are now with this Obamacare fiasco. So Obama is going to rule by way of executive order, and nobody is going to stop him. They talk big game, like you had Bulldog Trey Gowdy, always running up and down, barking up and down the street about this and invest, and nothing came of any of it. Whether you know it or not, James Comey did more to shine a light on what Hillary was doing than anybody. And I'll get to James Comey at the end. So Obama is ruling by way of executive order. The Democrats, because they don't have the majority in either place, the House or the Senate, they know they aren't going to get any substantive legislation that they want through because the Republicans won't allow it. Guess what? They don't care, because Obama will do what Obama wants to do by way of a pen and a phone, and they don't have to worry about anything that they have put in place prior being repealed by the Republicans, because if the Republicans were to put something together, guess what? It would not be signed by Obama. Can you say the 3 fake attempts to repeal Obamacare under Obama? None of it went anywhere. And the Republicans knew it. But they played the game manipulating you. I don't want to call your name, so I'm going to try and keep from that. But you are a knucklehead if you re-elected a rhino like Johnny Isaacson. So they knew that nothing would get done. Anything that they put together wouldn't be signed by Obama. And the Democrats were safe because the Democrats knew that anything that they had in place that was about big government wouldn't be repealed. So both parties were safe. Both parties were safe. Now America is tired. So here comes Comey. And this is what many of you don't understand that's been criticizing Comey. Comey saved us from Hillary Clinton, who would have been the queen of big government and the queen of those swamp monsters on both the Republican side and the Democratic side. Yes, she would have. And this country would have went straight to hell in a handcart towards one world government, which is what Obama and Bush, the Bushes, were leading us towards. And the Clintons, Bill Clinton. So now, all Comey had to do was shut the hell up, and Hillary most likely would have won. In her book, she blames Comey for losing. Now, Comey did what he did. Comey is no fool. That man documented stuff that he knew would get leaked. That man also could have just shut up, but he didn't. But he said the investigation on Hillary had been open not once, but twice, knowing that that would have an impact on the Electoral College. Not so much with the general voting public, because most of the majority of the public voted for Hillary Clinton, and only by a few million votes, so not that much. But the point is, what Comey did cost Hillary the election, along with a social media site that was running buku ads about Hillary Clinton and the email scandal, as well as the things that Julian Assange put out. That's what killed Hillary's election bid. Now Hillary is knocked out the box because Americans wanted Trump, who was speaking a language that we all wanted to hear, and that was our liberties and our freedoms back. And that's what we got. But we were expecting all those people that we elected in 2016 who ran on repeal and replace Obamacare to do just that, along with other things like tax return. This guy, who's dead now, may he rest in peace, I just got an article from the Wall Street Journal basically saying, it was either Wall Street, WJS, whatever that is. And it may have been WSJ. But anyway, that's irrelevant. The guy calls out 6 Republican senators, basically saying they were traitors because Trump would have signed any legislation if they had just allowed it to go to his desk. Well, why didn't they allow it to go? Because it was everything but what the Republicans ran on when they talked about repealing Obamacare. The man even said, split the bills up. Let's repeal Obamacare. They wouldn't do it. So he's saying that these 6 Republicans are a traitor to the Republican Party. And I'm telling you right now, bullshit. You need to be keeping those 6 guys for their bravery, for standing up to the fact that they tried to pass Obama-like, keep Obama-like, and they ended up with Obamacare still in its full glory. So what was Donald Trump left to do? He can't do nothing but move on. It's not Donald Trump's failure. It's your failure because you elected those fools in the Republican Party that got up there in the Senate and in the House and gave us that crappy ass bill that would have still left Americans screwed, would have still given bailouts to the insurance companies, etc., etc., etc. And that's what people like Rand Paul was trying to get us away from. But that didn't happen. And this guy is calling these 6 brave souls traitors to the Republican Party. That is the furthest thing from the truth. Everybody that supported that legislation on the Republican Party, they are the ones that are the traitors, and they are the ones that you elected. And that is the same situation that Malcolm X was saying to those dumbass Negroes who got on the Democratic plantation. You people on the Republican plantation, I'm sorry, I'm going to say it, get mad with me, unfriend me, I don't much give a damn. You are dumbass Republicans who have no understanding of what's going on, just like the person that wrote that article. And many Republicans are going to believe it and are going to be against the people that actually kept their promise of going and trying to repeal Obamacare completely and give us something that will work for the public. And we still don't have it. We still don't have it. So now we have the 2018 elections coming up. And I guarantee you, people like Lindsey Graham, John McCain, if he runs again, Mitch McConnell, Paul Ryan, yeah, those folks that elected them, they are my guys. They will be re-elected again. And I'm predicting right now, because many of my predictions come true, I'm predicting right now, as I said when I ran, Johnny Isakson is going to retire and be replaced by another rhino before he runs again. That's the plan. That's what's going to happen. He's going to be replaced by our rhino governor named Nathan Deal. Now, I know this video is going long, and I know many of you don't want to hear, and I know many of you are going to be upset about what I'm saying. But sometimes you need the truth. And that's why I always say seek first to understand, then to be understood. And I'm going to give you an example, and I'm going to close. You know how I know when people have no understanding? I was having a conversation with somebody, and I say, is Mel Gibson a Christian? They said, no, he's a Catholic. That's a person that has no understanding. Why do I say that? Catholics are Christians. Everybody that was a Christian was once a Catholic. But because of Martin Luther, when we found out when he realized all of the corrupt practices, or when he stood up, because he knew he could read the Bible in its ancient text, when he realized that, he confronted them. And by doing the first translation of the Bible, everybody got to see and read it for themselves. That brought about the Protestant Reformation. So therefore, we now end up with two classes of Christians, Protestants, and we have the Catholics. But because a lot of people had no understanding of the context of the things that they were reading, we ended up with multiple denominations under the Protestant side of the Christian faith. Baptists, Anabaptists, Methodists, Presbyterians, and the list goes on and on. And back in the 80s, when people realized, oh man, we got all these damn denominations, they started trying to move away from that because scholars who knew better was calling them on it. So they started coming up with names like Church of God in Christ, or just the Cathedral of Faith. All of them still practicing doctrines like the prosperity ministry that's just as corrupt as the things that the Protestant church was doing, like having people go and confess to a priest. Jesus Christ is the priest. You go and confess to him. You get on your knees and you talk to him. So when I listen to people talk, I listen. And when I read, I consider what they have wrote. And I know whether or not they have understanding or not. And many of you Republicans have no understanding, and many of you are going to go to the ballot box and re-elect some of these same rhinos that are screwing things up for Donald Trump. These failures are not on Donald Trump. First president that we have had since John F. Kennedy that is actually trying to do something to benefit the American people, and we got a bunch of folk up there in the House and in the Senate that claim to be conservative, that are doing everything that they can, joining hands with the Democrats, that is, to keep Donald Trump from giving us any substantive change in our government policy. And they are going to stand in the way of tax reform. And now everybody is going bat darn crazy because Donald Trump sees the writing on the wall, so he's reaching out to a few Democrats to try and get something done on tax reform, because he saw what the Republicans did for him on the repeal of Obamacare. There you have it, folks. You can do with it what you want. If you're mad or upset, I don't give a damn. That's your cross to bear, not mine. I'm just here to tell you simply what's going on, and you can accept it or not. It's on you. T-Mod out. Drive time till next time. Y'all have a good one. Be safe, and, stay dry. Peace out.